Very good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. Very quickly, allow me to quickly introduce myself. I am ACCA Shilpi Jain. I have been teaching ACCA for last 6 years now, and I've been teaching the financial management paper as well for 6 years. Now, very quickly, I myself am a qualified ACCA who did my ACCA from the UK, because at that time, ACCA was not available in India, but you guys are lucky that you can study here itself, and you can avail the benefits of studying an international qualification from the comfort of your home itself. So this is very quickly, just very briefly about myself. Now allow me to very quickly introduce the subject as well to you, which is financial management. Now, financial management, I'm sure that, the name itself tells you that we're going to be learning about how to manage the finances. We're going to be looking at a very important job role that, there is in an organization, which is very much related to the accounting qualification, which is management of finances. That is the job done by the financial manager in the organization. So now, you need to very quickly tell me, is this the first paper of ACCA you're doing? Do you guys have an experience of appearing for an ACCA paper so that I can, manage the content and manage the classes accordingly? How many of you are familiar with the CBE practice platform? How many of you have already given an exam on the computer, which is the computer-based exam of ACCA? Okay, somebody is in the name of Lenovo, says I've given 2 exams. Abhishek is this is the first paper. Preeti is the first time. Anusha is the first paper. Puru first paper. Kamalpreet is new. Hitesh first paper. Hari the first time. Hisro first time. Shabir first paper. Anirudh first paper. Sneha first paper. Karthikan first paper. Okay, my God. So many students are going to be appearing for the exam for the very first time. So my responsibility as a trainer now becomes, dual responsibility. Not only I have to train you for the subject, I also have to train you for how to appear for this computer-based exam. I also have to train you for the CBE practice platform, wherein you can, you can prepare yourself to be able to appear for this computer-based exam. And being the first paper, you obviously need to groom yourself with the right examination technique. Believe you me, you must have given some other exam in your life till now. ACCA exams are going to be unlike any other exam that you have given so far. Why so? Because the entire application, the entire content, the entire agenda of the exams is not only to just groom and not just to, to check upon your skill, but also to make you job ready. And how do you become job ready? So basically, after having given your FM paper, you will be groomed enough, you will be skilled enough to apply for a financial manager position in any company, really. So it's not just bookish knowledge that is going to be tested. It is going to be your skills. It is going to be your presentation. It is going to be the way you approach a situation that is going to be tested in your ACCA exam. And thus, that is precisely why I say that the ACCA qualification is an extremely robust qualification that actually skills you as, a finance manager, as a professional in your life. So now, okay, Malar Kodi is also the first paper. So, out of 21 participants in the class, I think nearly 19 are appearing for an ACCA exam for the first time. So what I will do, I will, groom you, not only just for the content, not only just for the technical knowledge that is going to be required for your FM paper, but I will also keep telling you good tips and tricks for you to be able to pass all your ACCA papers. Start with the subject, which is financial management. So now you tell me that what do you think would, be the most important aspects, or, the most important, you can say, key responsibility areas, that is the KRA of a finance manager in any organization. What do you think, would be like the 3 most important things that a finance manager would be taking care of? What sort of decisions would the finance manager be taking? Tell me. The way I like my classes is that the classes have to be very, very interactive. You have to, chat with me in the chat box. You have to keep sending your messages. You have to keep answering whatever I am asking. And very much I am open to, repeating. So any concept, any particular question that you're not able to understand, please feel free to, just drop in a message in the chat box that, what is not clear, what do you want me to repeat? And I'll be more than happy to reiterate the concept. I do not move forward till everybody in the class understands what, what topic we're talking about. Okay. So, somebody is in the name of Lenovo, I don't know who. So somebody says to manage the finance and take the decision to where the manager has to invest the money and how to create wealth for shareholders. Yes, that's a very good point. So definitely that is one of the major job roles of a finance manager. How money is invested or how money is used, says Preeti. Again, that's a good point. So, where the money is going to come from, where the money is going to be invested, how this money is going to, how this money is going to be utilized to be able to grow more money for yourself. So that is primarily what, we are looking at. Kamalpreet says, financial decisions, investment decisions, and dividend decisions. Wow, like that's just bingo, Kamalpreet. So that is like a perfect reply. So yes, the three major job roles that a finance manager basically looks at is that where the money is going to come from. So financing decisions. B, where this, this raised money that you have, where is this going to be invested? Which projects are going to be invested, are going to be, you're going to go ahead with so that this money makes more money for yourself. And then once you've made money, what do you do with it? Obviously, the real owners of the company are the shareholders, right? So how would you be distributing dividend amongst these shareholders? How would you be creating wealth for these shareholders? That is what the primarily, the broadly the syllabus area or the job profile of a finance manager is. That's perfectly fine, Kamalpreet. Bear with me, please. Kartikan says financing, that is fund plus investments plus create wealth to the shareholders. Yes, to the stakeholders. That's perfect. Puru says where to invest, how much equity and debt. Yes, that's right as well. Puru, just a quick suggestion that whenever you're, pouring in an answer, don't just send it directly to me. You can share it with everyone in the class so that everybody reads your answer. And, we're all learning together, right? So no need to, just only converse with me on a one-on-one basis. I want you all to converse with each other, look at each other's ideas, look at each other's answers so that we are all able to learn from each other. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Puru. Hari says wealth creation using existing capital through investments. Yes, shareholder wealth creation is definitely a very important job role in the profile of a finance manager. So yes, when you all understand that broadly the three aspects that the finance manager is looking at is investment, is financing, is dividend decisions. So actually these are the three broad syllabus areas that we will be looking at in your paper as well. So this is what broadly I can actually divide the entire syllabus in. Now you're looking at a linkage which begins with a management accountancy from the applied knowledge level. And if you go one level up, this is going to be a finance management, your financial management becomes your AFM, which is your advanced financial management, which is an optional paper in the professional level. Now, because right now you are all in the skills level, and this FM paper, if you look at the chronology, this falls like at the last of your skills level. Like this is the F9 paper, which we traditionally used to call. And after this starts your professional level. So by the end of this paper, the ACCA body, the examiner, expects you to be grilled enough, to be, to be equipped enough to then move on to the professional level. So take it as a professional level paper only. You're going to write answers, not as students. Please do not do that. You're no more students now. You are a finance manager working in XYZ company. So when you put yourself in the shoes of a finance manager, your language, the way you're talking, the way you are representing your answers, everything changes likewise, because then you are a finance manager. The way you're presenting your answers, the way you're writing your answers, everything is as of a financial manager in the organization, right? Okay, so let's move ahead and understand the expectations of the ACCA examiner for finance manager, for this financial management paper. Why do you think we are doing this? Why are we going through the expectations? Obviously, so that we can meet those expectations. So if I know what the other person expects from me in advance, it becomes more easy for me to be able to meet somebody's expectations, right? So now I am very categorically telling you that the ACCA exam committee, the ACCA examining team for FM expects you to do two things for this paper: perform as well as comment. So you got to do two major job roles: perform as well as comment on certain calculations. You should be able to perform critical abilities like evaluating, like discussing, being able to demonstrate understanding of the entire syllabus, as well as use question information. Now, what does that mean? The FM paper is going to be broken down into three sections: Section A, Section B, and Section C. These are going to be small scenarios. In Section C are going to be small scenario-based questions, wherein you will be given some XYZ company, something that is happening in the company, and you have to be able to use this question information to be able to structure your answer. So that is something which is very, very important, and the examiner expects from you to be able to do all of these things: perform calculations, not just perform calculations, be able to comment upon these calculations as well. So if I'm saying that a company's gross profit margin has increased by 20%, so do I just stop here? No, I have to dig deeper into it. I have to be able to comment upon it. I have to be able to explain that what are the repercussions of the company's gross profit margin increasing by 20%. So this is something that I have to be very critical in terms of demonstrating that I am actually a finance manager. I'm not only just able to perform calculations and give answers, I'm also able to add value to those calculations by discussing about these numbers. First things first, let me get this very straight in all of your head, that FM is not just only a number crunching paper. FM is not just only going to be about calculations. If you look at Section C of your FM paper, a majority portion of your Section C is going to have theory-based questions as well. So it's a very delicately prepared, syllabus. It's a very delicately balanced paper in perspective of being numerical calculations plus theory questions. Numerical calculations also backed by discursive requirements, which are going to be there. So this is something that you have to do. Okay, quick question. How many of you are familiar with the ACCA website, which has the study support resources for you guys? Tell me. How many of you are familiar with the study support resources available on the ACCA's website? No idea, no idea. Okay. Okay, so I see majority of you are not familiar with it. Okay. So see, I will tell you how we are going to approach for this paper so that I can ensure that you all pass your paper. So obviously you have to, attend each and every live class. Why I am focusing on everybody coming to the live class is that then I will be able to gauge whether you have understood the concept or not. You will be able to ask me questions live. You will be able to tell me, you will be able to ask your doubts to me in live. And you and I are only going to go ahead with the next topic, with the next question, once we are all okay with the concept that we have done so far. So I do not like to rush my classes. I do not like to just, just quickly breeze through the syllabus. No, I'm going to cover each and every aspect in detail. I'm going to do many questions. I'm going to make you do many questions. I'm going to make you familiar with the CBE practice platform to be able to, prepare yourself with the right skill that you require for you to pass your paper. So not just only FM training, but how you have to handle a computer-based exam, what sort of time management is going to be required to be able to pass your ACCA papers, what sort of skills you're going to, require, what sort of books, what sort of extra, you can say resources, where they are available, how to make use of them. So it's like a whole combination of efforts that are going to be required from your end to be able to pass your paper. So very quickly, I'm going to tell you slowly and gradually, in the classes that, okay, this is what is required, this is what is available, this is what is available where, and how do you basically approach it. Since many of you are not familiar with it, what I'm going to very quickly do is show you where the content is. Okay, so this is just a link for everyone, but I'm not going to go directly from the link because I think many of you have never seen it. So let's just go on to Google. Let's just go on to acccaglobal.com, which is the ACCA's official website. Go under student section. Go under study support resources. Choose the ACCA qualification. Choose the paper which we are doing, which is FM. Now, these are all your study support resources which are available from ACCA, all free of cost, which you have to utilize apart from your classes. Classes will help you in building technical knowledge. These resources will help you in practicing that technical knowledge, in grooming yourself with the other resources which are available, which are very important for you to be able to pass your paper. Let me just very quickly take you through. Okay, so introduction to the paper, which we will do in the class, planning your studies, which again we'll do in the class, examining teams guidance, which I will be telling you in the class today. Quick quizzes, you have syllabus, maths and English. That is something which is like a very quick introduction. Now, come down here. Learning and revision. Effective learning and revision is something which is very important. How do you do that? You have to do lots of practice on the ACCA's practice platform, which you can log on from here, or you can log on to it directly from your My ACCA account as well. Apart from this, practice platform, which I will be showing to you as well and taking you through the format of the paper as well, just to, familiarize you with what you and I are basically heading into. We also have some topic related extra material, which is in the form of these technical articles written by the examiner on the important topics of your F9 syllabus. Now, because these are something which are written by the examiner, they obviously become very important because these are the topics that the examiner believes that are, required from additional, you can say, like an insight from the examiner on a particular topic. So please go through these technical articles. There are many here. I would recommend you to go through all. If at all you can't go through all, I will be telling you the important technical articles that you must go into. Then what is this examiner's report? Any idea? Any idea what is this examiner's report? It's an extremely important tool that you all have to go through. What is the examiner's report? Tell me. In this report, it is mentioned that where other students had made mistakes. Yes, that's a perfect answer. Examiner report. So supposingly we have just finished, the March 22 FM paper. So once the examiner has gone through all the papers, the paper checking is done, then the examiner prepares an examiner's report, which basically talks about the entire paper which was tested, what the examiner expected out of the candidates, what most of the candidates did well, where the most of the candidates did well, and what were the common mistakes which were made by most of the students. That's right, Priyanshu. So basically, it grooms you and it helps you learn from other students' mistakes so that you, when you will be attempting your FM paper in the next, quarter, you are not making the same mistake. So that is why I say going through the examiner's report is extremely important document. Exam technique, definitely we need to go through the exam technique. Then there are some past exam questions here, which are also available on the practice platform. Some FAQs about the paper, which you can go through. Formulas and maths tables. So in your FM paper, there will be few formulas which will be given to you in the exam itself. So you need not mug up or you need not learn the formula. However, only the formula will be given to you, what each one of these variables stand for, when to apply which formula will not be told to you. So yes, even though you don't have to literally learn the entire formula, you need to know how to be able to apply the formula. And then maths tables like the discount factor table, the annuity tables, these are some common tables which will be given to you. How to make use of these tables, I will be telling you when we actually come down to that particular topic. But yes, that is something which will be given to you in the exam itself. Very important point here as well. Let me just very quickly talk about it. You're all allowed to make use of calculators during your ACCA papers, including your F9 paper. So what you can do, you can carry a normal calculator, you can carry scientific calculators as well with you. However, the calculator must not have a memory function. So that is the only thing which is, there. However, what you can do is very quickly, you can, make your calculations on the calculator. You can carry physical calculators. There will be a calculator functionality given on the platform itself, which you will be appearing for the exam from. However, what I recommend the students is to please make use of physical calculators. Hari says, in contrast to Indian course, application of concepts is given more focus here. Absolutely right, Hari. There is no concept of rote learning in ACCA. That is not going to help you. That, you think you're going to be learning the concept, you're going to be mugging up the pointers. That is not going to help you in any ACCA paper for that matter. What is going to help you is being able to apply the technical knowledge, link it to the scenario which has been given to you, and then give an answer as a professional. So what did I tell you? That you are no more students now. You will be writing your answer as a finance manager working in XYZ company. So obviously, if you're doing a job as a finance manager, you will be required to present answers. You will be required to give descriptions. You will be asked to make recommendations as a finance manager, not as a student. Right, Hari? Can we update in our CV even after clearing one paper? Absolutely right, Preeti. Even now, you can start putting in your CV pursuing ACCA. Because you have already started with your journey, why not? Put it down as pursuing ACCA. Right? Now, let's very quickly go through the past percentage, that is the past rates of the last few quarters. And as you can see on the screen, the past percentage somewhere, moves around from 45% to maximum 50, 52, 53%. Now, who do you think are these 50%, average 50% of the students who are passing the paper? So if out of, say, just giving a hypothetical number, say 100 students who are appearing for the exam, only 50 are going to pass. Why do you think it is, like that? Because like I told you, ACCA is not just going to check your bookish knowledge, your conceptual knowledge. It is going to check how well you are groomed to be a finance professional. So these 50% average people who pass the paper are the ones who will be taking care of everything that I will be telling you during the classes, your presentation, your application, your concepts, your theoretical knowledge. Everything has to be concentrated upon. They are the ones who will be, having done at least, and I'm saying at least 3 mock exams on the practice platform. They would have done along with, going through the examiner's report for all of these 3 papers. They obviously would have gone through 100% of the classes. They would have gone through each and every question from your book. Now that we know, I've just mentioned book, what you have to do is you have to all buy your BPP book set. You can reach out to the team at VG Learning. The concerned person's number and name is Sandeep. And I'm just penning down his contact number, which you can reach out to for, for your physical books of your BPP, which is going to be a book set of 2 books, which is the workbook, plus the practice and revision kit. Each and every question from your practice and revision kit has to be done by you if you want to be amongst the 50% of the students who pass the paper. Anything which I am telling you that you have to do, and if you don't do it, I can tell you today itself on day 1 of the class that you will not pass. So if I'm guiding you, I am telling you that this is something that needs to be done. It means that it needs to be done. So there is no, wavering, or there is no like, okay, let's just do 50% of what ma'am is saying. You will not be able to pass the paper. You will, even your effort of doing 50% is going to be wasted. So please don't do that. My endeavor in my class is that 100% of my class needs to pass. And it's as simple as that. And not just only pass the paper, but I expect, at least a couple of you to become rank holders of the ACCA paper. So yes, if you agree, if you want to be that, please just follow whatever I am guiding you to do in the classes. If there's anything that you want me to repeat, if there's anything that you want me to, explain again, any particular calculation, any particular concept, I am 100% available all the time. I am, more than happy to reiterate concepts, and we will not go ahead with any concept till the time I get 100% confirmation from the class that everybody is clear with each and every aspect of the topic that we have done so far. Right? Any queries, guys? Anything you want to ask? Any questions so far? Guru says no. Any recommendation you would like to give to me, please go ahead with your suggestions, with your recommendations. I am always open for, feedback. I am always happy to go and conduct the class the way my class likes it. Any suggestions from your end? Any recommendations? Anything that you want me to change in my style of teaching? Any particular, skill that you would like me to incorporate? Is the workbook enough, or should we look into more sums? So like I just mentioned, Hari, the workbook is something that we will be doing in the class itself. So each and every question will be covered. Along with that, we will be doing few questions from the practice and revision kit as well in the class. However, all other questions for every topic is something that you have to do as a bare minimum. So the entire question set from your practice and revision kit has to be done by you. Will you be teaching from Kaplan or BPP study? So I will be teaching from BPP study material, and you need to reach out to the team at VG Learning on the number which I just mentioned. And everybody needs to be, having books by, if not tomorrow's session, but at least by next week's session. No, Pranshu, it's absolutely not compulsory. Both BPP as well as Kaplan are approved, content partners of ACCA. I will be, my personal favorite is BPP. And I will be taking up the entire workbook and the practice and revision kit of BPP itself in the classes. So I would recommend you to go through BPP. Additionally, you can also go ahead and buy Kaplan and do question practice from there itself. But to be with me in the class, I would recommend you to please go ahead and buy BPP content itself. They are both equally good. I personally find BPP content a little better than Kaplan because the question standard, you can say, is exam standard. It's not easy. So when we are practicing with good exam standard questions, which are there in BPP's content, we are actually preparing ourselves better for the exam, right? So it's just my personal recommendation. From ACCA's perspective, you can go ahead and buy any of them. Any other question? Okay, so what we will do now is look at the exam then. Okay, before something going around in the class. Okay. Don't worry, everyone, the class is going to be a 5-hour long class. So I will be giving you short breaks in between. You can have your breakfast, you can have your lunch, but then yes, come back on time and we will, again, continue with the session so that I can also have my breakfast and I can also have my lunch during the class itself, right? Okay, so now I think there was a query which I missed just before going to the break. Okay, ACCA does not provide any study material. No, ACCA does not provide any study material, Hitesh. ACCA has approved content partners, which are BPP as well as Kaplan. These are the two approved content partners, which have, who ACCA has approved that its students must study from any of these contents. So that is how it works. Otherwise, directly ACCA doesn't provide any books. Okay. Any other question anybody wants to ask, or shall we continue with the session then? Okay. So now let's have a look at the exam itself. The exam is something which, wherein all questions are going to be compulsory questions. So yes, there is going to be no choice given to you. It will contain both computational as well as discursive elements of the question. Some questions will adopt a scenario or a case study based approach, wherein we will be looking at that how and basically, what the content is going to look at. That section A questions are going to be one kind, section B questions are going to be one type, and then section C questions are going to be one type. There is going to be no option given to you. Each and every question is going to be a compulsory question. Okay. Will you provide notes? Yes, absolutely. Yes. So may I just know your name? Lenovo tab 410. So I can address you with your name then. Who just asked this question? Who will you provide notes? Your name is not visible, so I am unable to call you from your name. Right. So I know these PPTs which I am showing to you, I will be sharing with you these PPTs, which will be my support from you. These notes, which are going to be based upon the entire syllabus area, will be provided to you by me after the class. So I will be sharing it with VG Learning, and the technical team will be uploading the lecture, the recording of this lecture, along with the notes that we will be going through in the class. Right, Vanshika? Thanks for sharing your name. So now let's move ahead and have a look at what skills are going to be required for you to pass your FM paper. Brought forward knowledge, definitely required from your FA syllabus, because that is something which will be considered that, okay, you know how to calculate basic ratios, you know how to basically go ahead and have basic knowledge of your management accounting paper. Even if you were exempted from it, don't worry, you were exempted because you already have that skill set. So don't worry if you've literally not gone through the knowledge level paper of your MA. Calculations definitely will be required. However, don't just, put down the final numbers. You have to show clear workings as to, where this particular figure has come from, as well as give a logical structure to your data. You should be able to interpret the data in terms of what is it that is there and how these, what does these numbers actually mean to you. So interpret data which is going to be there. Explain the management accounting techniques as well as discuss their application to the question. So like I said, there is going to be, discursive elements of your FM paper. You will be, you will be required to explain different concepts as well as discuss their application to the question as well. You will be required to apply skills in a practical manner, which is there that, okay, how do I basically get this knowledge? What does this particular figure talk about? What does it mean for the organization? What sort of, what does this data represent for the organization? That is something which is definitely going to be required. Shivam says, if I have attended recorded lecture, then can I skip the live class? And if I don't have any doubts? Shivam, it's going to be entirely your call. My advice as a trainer would be to always come to the live batch, because here, this is where the learning is happening real time. You are listening to me live, you are asking me your doubts live, you are able to resolve your doubts live. Whereas, when you go to the recorded lecture, obviously you are alone, you are in your own zone, you're not studying with your other, other friends who are there in the live lecture. You're not connecting with me live. And if you have absolutely any doubt, you cannot ask it to me live, right? So I would always recommend students to come down to the live batch. I am, giving my Saturday and Sunday to you guys. I know that, I'm asking for your weekend as well, but this is only just to make you prepare yourself better for the exam. Kartikan asks, do we need to answer objective questions with working notes as well, or just answering A or B, etc.? No worry, Kartikan, I will be telling you each and every skill required for all sections. So section A will only require you to choose the correct option or put down the correct number. No working notes will be required there. However, where working notes will be required, that will be in section C, right? We'll come to that, don't worry. We'll be doing lots and lots of question practice based on that. Okay, so now this is what your broad syllabus area is broken down. So you have got part A, B, C, D, E, F, G towards your syllabus. Why I have not written in the chronological manner of A, B, C, and D is because I have basically penned down from the point of view that which topic is like the most important. So part D, investment appraisal, is like the most important syllabus area. Working capital management, again, very, very important. This is where, generally business finance. So the first few topics, this is where your section C questions are going to come from. And then thereafter, all the other topics, there will be questions coming in from section A, section B, majority in terms of, where the content is going to be split. Can you explain some topics on scratch which are connected to those exempted subjects? Don't worry. Whenever, we will be coming down to every topic, I will be going through the base of that topic, and then we will be proceeding with that. So there is absolutely nothing that you basically, need to revise today, or, go back to your MA book for that matter. We will be doing everything from the base itself. I don't leave anything for, students to go back and probably do something on their own. That would not be required. Right? So basic things like ratio analysis and, calculation of basic percentage is what would be required, but we will be doing that in the class itself. Okay. So how the exam is going to, look like. So the exam itself is going to be a 3-hour long exam broken down into 3 sections that I've told you already. Section A is going to have 15 objective test questions, which are going to be of 2 marks each. Section B of the exam is going to comprise 3 10 minutes, 10 marks case study based questions. So there is going to be basically 2 case studies. Each case study is going to be 10 marks each. However, the case study is going to be split into 5 questions of 2 marks each based on the same scenario. So there's one scenario given to you broken down into 5 questions thereafter based on the same scenario. And then section C is going to have 2 constructed response questions, which is it is going to have 2 questions of 20 marks each, which is going to require you to do calculations, show your workings, put down your, your narrative answers are going to be here as well. So that is going to be a 40 marks section C. Section A, how much it is? 30 marks. Section B, it is another 30 marks. And section C is going to be 40 marks, making it a complete 100 marks, right? Is that okay? So let's have a look at this. Right, so now let's very quickly have a look at broadly section A and section B and what is going to be your approach to handle section A and section B. So section A and section B questions will be selected from the entire syllabus, which means that section A and section B questions, just bear with me, please. I don't know why my phone keeps ringing. So section A and section B questions are going to be selected from the entire syllabus which is there. Section A is going to contain multiple choice questions, that is MCQ only. Then what is going to be your exam technique to handle these MCQs? You should be able to identify a stem. That is what the question is. You should be able to identify out of the 4 options given to you. You have to identify the correct answer, which is going to be your key. And thereafter, the 3 other answers, which are all plausible. However, they are all incorrect answers, is what we call as distractors. They are called distractors because they've been put down there with the purpose of distracting you so that you ultimately get distracted by them and mind, just get lured into choosing them as the option. But what you have to do is you don't have to get distracted by the distractors, but instead choose the key, which is the correct answer, right? How will we do that? We will be doing lots and lots of question practice to do that. Then you have your section C questions. Like I said, your syllabus area C, which is your working capital management, syllabus area D, which is your investment appraisal, as well as your syllabus area E, which is your business finance. You can expect a question in your section C from these areas. Definitely it is going to be there because these are the most important topic areas of your FM syllabus. Candidates are also provided with formula sheet as well as table of discount with annuity factor, which is there. Candidates should bring a scientific calculator to the examination. Like I just mentioned to you that please go ahead and bring your calculators, so that you can use your calculators to simplify your calculations rather than you don't have to, apply your mind in your calculations. This is what your section C is going to be broadly based upon. Very important, not just for your FM paper, but every ACCA exam that you're going to do. Time allocation, you have to be absolutely critical and cautious of time. You just cannot overrun on time. 1.8 minutes per mark is what you have got to finish your FM paper. So 100 marks, 180 minutes is what you have, which means 1.8 minutes per mark. For each 2-marker question, you cannot spend anything beyond 3.6 minutes for your section A question, which means in total, section A, you cannot give anything beyond 54 minutes of your exam time. As soon as you're done with these 54 minutes, drop dead section A, move on to section B. You are not going to overrun even on a single minute in your FM paper. Why? Because that is going to be lethal if you do not get sufficient time to finish your section C. So please work in a methodological manner. Allocate, I've already told you the time allocation for every section, and that is what you need to stick to. Your section B is going to take 18 minutes each. So what do you have here? You've got your questions are going to be 30. You're going to have your 10-marker objective test case studies. You're not going to spend anything beyond 18 minutes per 10 marks question that you have. For your 20 marks question, you're not going to spend anything beyond 36 minutes per 20 mark question. You have to stick to this. I am reiterating it so many times because if you don't stick to your time allocation, there will be, a possibility that you have overrun on time and you are not even finished your paper, which definitely decreases the probability of you passing your paper. So what we want to do is, complete 100% of your question paper. So attempt 100 marks question. So at least, what is the pass percentage? How much do you need to pass? Tell me. How much do you need to pass your FM paper or any other ACC paper for that matter? Yes. So you need to increase your probability of getting at least a 50 so that you are passing your paper. And that will only happen once you have attempted 100 marks question. Word of caution here is that, the first few, you can say steps are the ones which will help you gain easy marks. So instead of, overrunning on time and trying to do the hardest part of a question, please drop dead the question. move to the next question and gain easy marks out of the next question. That technique will come to you when we will do lots and lots of questions. You will see that as you're progressing towards the question, the first few steps are like the easiest ones. They will help you gain easy marks. And in case you're overrunning on time, please don't do that. Drop dead the question, move on to the next one and gain the easy marks from the next question. So that ultimately our objective is to get more than 50 marks in the paper. That's all that is required, right? Simple technique. Okay. Hitesh said, this is my first ACC exam. How much I have to work upon my typing skills as well as spreadsheet to complete 100% on time? Very, very important. So it's a good question, Hitesh. And I'm sure, like you, a lot, many other students are also appearing for the ACC exam for the first time. And because of the traditional, exam technique or exam approach that we are also used to, what you now need to do is in my class and whenever you are practicing, there will be no pen and paper use. I'm again reiterating, none of you are going to do anything on a pen and paper in class. You're all going to just only solve all questions on Excel. So open up Microsoft Excel in your laptops or tabs or computers, whatsoever you are, taking the class from with. And there you have to start solving your questions from day one itself. Nobody is going to make use of pen and paper in the class, while revision, while doing practice. No, everything has to be done on the computer itself, so that not only are you, upskilling your typing skills, you're also preparing yourself to handle the exam. Not like suddenly one day you're going to get up and you're going to, your typing speed is going to increase. You're going to be familiar with all the functionality of the computer and the practice platform. That is not going to happen, believe you me. So from today up till the day of the exam, we have almost 3 months for that. And what you're going to do in these 3 months is just only do practice on the computer itself. Right, Hitesh? And that goes for everyone, please. Okay, that goes for everyone. No pen and paper in the class, no pen and paper while practicing. Everybody will only, I will be solving questions on Excel with you. I will be sharing the Excel, screenshot with screen with you. Everybody, along with me, you will also be doing the same. Okay, so how to pass? Obviously, we need to know how to pass, right? That is what we are all here for. A, we have to understand the theory. Please do not underestimate the requirement of theory in your FM paper. You should all be able to apply all the formulas which are going to be there in your FM syllabus. You should be able to interpret the requirement very, very carefully so that you are able to, exactly deliver and exactly represent what the exact requirement of the question really is. That is something which is extremely important. And practice exam questions in a timed environment. That is something which is again very, very important. Like I said, time management is extremely important for every ACCA paper. Now that we've basically gone through the exam and what exam technique is going to be looking like, I'm now going to show you what an actual FM exam looks like. Let's very quickly have a look at the CBE practice platform. Okay, so you all have access to the practice platform. Either you can take it from here, from the ACCA's website, or you can just log on to your My ACCA account and log on to the practice platform there itself. I'm just very quickly going to show you what an actual ACCA exam, FM exam looks like. Because when we know what the exam is going to look and feel like, it will become a lot more easy for us to prepare ourselves for the exams, and there will be no surprises per se for you in the exam. So I just like to show the students what we are heading into on day one itself. So I am on FM, I am on the ACC official resources. We have past exam library, we have practice exams here, we have specimen exams here, we have a blank workspace as well. Let me very quickly go through a past exam library. Okay, I'll go to a practice exam because that will actually show me section A as well as section B question. So I am just going to assign myself. So whenever I assign a question on the practice platform, it comes on the left. So there it is, FM practice exam 1. So let's just start the exam. This is typically what your exam is going to look like. Exactly. It's going to begin with this introduction screen. Obviously, we are broadly just telling you what will be the broad differences between a live exam and this practice platform. Obviously, there's going to be no timing on the practice platform because this is just for you to practice. There is going to be very small differences in terms of the functionality and the highlight features which are available. But yes, this is what broadly the look and feel of your FM exam is going to be like. So this is the first 4 pages of instruction that are going to be there for you. I want everybody to please spare out some time and read through this quickly. There you are. I want everybody to go through this. Let me know when you want me to go down to your instruction, your introduction sheet 2. Done reading? Shivam says, I'm not able to log in. Log in where? On the practice platform. Log in from your MyACC account, please. Quickly go through the instructions sheet too. Done reading? Shall I scroll down? So you have basic functionality, which is going to be a calculator, which is going to be a highlight and strike through functionality. There is going to be a working paper, that is scratch pad functionality, which is going to be there available for you. So wherein you can do your rough calculations. Anything written on the scratch pad will not be checked by the examiner because it's obviously like a rough paper. So quickly go through this. Let me know when you want me to go down to the next sheet of instructions. Quickly go through the through your instructions on the screen. Done reading? Okay, wonderful. Let's quickly then move on to your next sheet of instruction, which says that yes, you can copy paste from the question to the answer screen as well. So there is a Control-C, Control-V functionality, which is available like a normal Excel, which you can very well make use of in the exam platform as well. Symbols can be inserted, making use of the symbol button on the tool top bar. There is a navigator screen which will be available wherein you can navigate through all the questions that you've done so far. What is the status of each one of these questions? And then obviously there, you can open up multiple screens, and then you can close all these screens as well. Quickly go through the screen, and then you can review your exam before you actually go down and end your exam. So if there is, there is a flag functionality which is available. You can flag a question in case you want to come back to a question later on. And you can have a look at that, under your reviewing the exam option. You can go back to that question directly. I will show you all of this as of now, but just quickly read through the instructions first, very quickly. Done reading? So now let's go to the last sheet of instruction, wherein you can do an item by item review, wherein, like I told you, you can go back to the flat questions that you had, flagged to come back to it later. And once everything is done from your end, you can finally end the exam. Obviously, in the real life exam, once you've ended the exam, you can never revisit the exam again. On the practice platform, you can definitely go and revisit and look at the question, look at the exam multiple times. So quickly go through the instruction sheet. Then I'll show you what an actual exam actually looks like. Done? Wonderful. So now let's have a look at an actual exam. So like we've already discussed what the exam is going to be like. The exam is going to be section A, section B, section C. What it is, you already know. We've already discussed it. Okay, so the computer will always give you prompters in case you've not gone through the entire screen. Just trying to help you not miss out on anything important. Are you ready to begin the exam? Yes, I am. Let's begin the exam. Section A, like we all know, is going to be comprising of 15 objective mark questions of 2 marks each, total 30 marks. Let's have a look at this. This is typically what the section A questions are going to look like. So there will be a question here. What you have to do, you have to put down an answer. Now the instruction says that you have to put down your answer to the nearest whole dollar. So please do not try to put down any decimal. So I tried to put down a decimal. I got a response validation that the input does not match the expected format because I should not be putting in a decimal. So this is how the system will help you in putting in the answers in the correct format. I can make use of, let me just show it to you, the highlight functionality. I feel that something is given which I need not use. I can strike through that information. There is a calculator functionality which is there, which I can switch from scientific to standard calculator. But I always recommend the students to please carry their own physical calculators to the exam as well, because that is something which is allowed. Then this is the scratch pad, which is the rough paper. This will not be tested by the examiner. You can, let me show you. This is Control C. This is Control V. And this is how you can copy paste in the scratch pad in your screen. This is typically the functionality which is there in the calculator. You can insert symbols where required. So now I'm just going to obviously we haven't covered any syllabus area per se. I'm just only showing you typical, what the exam like literally, looks like. So these are the questions where I have to highlight an option for each, option given to you. So I'm just randomly selecting so that I can just show you and scroll through section A, section B, and section C with you. Okay. Okay. I'm just randomly selecting options. These are not the right options. Obviously, I'm just showing you what kind of questions are going to be tested in section A. You just have to pick one of the options which is given to you, right? Everybody okay with section A questions? What they will look and feel like? I have to select out of the options. So there's a drop box which could be there. I have to choose an option, move forward. Okay, let's just randomly select options here. I'm obviously not even reading through the questions, but I'm just showing you what typical questions can look like and what typical kind of response options will be tested in your section A question. Is everybody okay with section A? Any doubts in your section A questions? Please feel free to ask. Okay, I didn't scroll down. Everybody okay with section A? Any doubts you have? What about others? Okay, wonderful. Let's have a quick look at what typical section B exam look like. Okay, so there is going to be a question on the left-hand side of the screen. So there is going to be a little scenario given to you, followed by 5 2-marker questions on the right. Same set of scenario on the left. Question number 1. Let's do a next. You can actually increase or decrease the font, the size here. This is section. This is where it is. Again, the same scenario. Question on the right. Same question. And again, followed by another 2-marker question on the right. Same question on the left, another 2-marker question on the right. So one small scenario given, followed by 5 questions based upon the same scenario, 2 marks each. Please use navigator on screen. Don't worry, I'll show you everything. I'll show you all the functionality. Now what has happened on the left? Your scenario has changed. So this is scenario number 2, followed by question number 1 of 2 marks each. So this is how this is going to be like. Okay, supposingly, let me just show you. Supposingly, I don't know what the answer for this particular question is, and I want to come back to this question. So what I can do here is I can flag for review on the right top. You see this? Flag for review option. So I have flagged this particular question. And if I go on the navigator button, it just shows me what my status of the questions is. So I have completed 22 questions. I have flagged question number 23, and the other questions are actually unseen. This is just navigating me quickly and showing me the status of each one of my question which is there. That's okay? Okay, Puru? Okay, so let's just continue. Again, same question followed by another set of 2-marker question on the right. Again, either I'm just required to, choose an option or just very quickly mark in my options. Easy questions, 2 marks questions they are, and you should all be able to very quickly do them. With lots and lots of question practice that we will be doing in the class itself, you will be all ready for it. Then there's another question which has come up, followed by question number A again of your part B. Yeah, I haven't viewed the entire question. I have not done anything to it. I'm just randomly selecting. Same question. Another question on the right. Same question. There you are. So this is what typical section B question is going to be looking like. Is that okay with everyone? Is that okay with everyone? Typical section B questions, how do look like, what the exam, is going to probably, the typical section B is going to look like. Wonderful. Now let's hop on to section C then. Section C, we know there are going to be 2 questions of 20 marks, each total worth 40 marks. Now, this is where you will be doing calculations, writing down your answers. You will be tested upon a lot of discursive requirements in the question as well. So this section is actually going to, decide whether you're going to overall pass or fail your paper. So very important. So there is the question. This scenario relates to 3 requirements which are there. The question is on the left. First requirement of this question is that you have to do some calculation. So automatically, what has popped up? Automatically, your Excel-like spreadsheet has popped up. I have a formula sheet here, which I can make use of. Instructions we've already read. This is the formula sheet. So these are the list of formulas we need not learn because they will be given to us in the exam. They are very, very base formulas with lots and lots of question practice. You anyways will, know and learn these formulas. Then you have your present value table given to you, followed by your annuity tables. All of this is already given to you under the formula sheet option here. These are some constructed response question help. If you want to, just have a basic look at functionality, I want everybody to quickly read through each one of them. Why my LinkedIn has opened up? I don't know what happened there. Oh, good Lord. Do I have to go through it all over again? Sorry, some wrong screen I just pressed. Okay, my bad. Let me just go to the navigator. Here we are. So this has happened. You will be able to write down. You will be able to write down numbers, perform basic functionality. So I can use formulas like whatever formulas, basic Excel formulas, which I want to make use of. There will be formulas which we will be using in the class on Excel. All of that is something that you will be allowed to make use of here itself, right? So this is typically what an exam section C is going to look like. Let me just, what have I not done now? Let me just scroll through that the system feels that I've actually looked at the entire question. It's just trying to help me, but it doesn't know that I'm not trying to solve any questions here. Okay, let's just. There you are. This is the question, followed by another question on your right. And then you again have got a response option to put down your answers in. There we are. I'm not just doing any calculations or doing anything here. So I'm going to show you what a typical section C question looks like. Okay, so there you are, the question here. And then there comes in the narrative answer. So now, because we have to write down an answer, it's a theory question. What has popped up? There's a word-like document which has popped up. So here you can, just make use of whatever is required. What is to improve the management of its trade receivables? So trade receivables. Management techniques. I'm just like randomly doing it. I'm just showing you some basic skill. So what you can do is you have to present your answer by bolding, underline, making your answer look presentable. Please, very, very important is that you should know that your answers need to look very, very presentable, right? This is what a typical question is going to look like. There we are. There you are. There comes in the question. Again, I have a discursive question. So we have got what? We have got a word-like document which has automatically popped up. Here again, it wants me to go up and down. So again, now what has happened since we've gone through the entire section A, B, and C, the item by item review screen has popped up. It feels that I have left some questions incomplete. I have completed few. And this is what the status of my entire exam is. Has everybody gone through this? Is everybody okay with what the overall look and feel of the exam is going to be like? Section A, Section B, Section C. Any questions? Anybody wants to ask anything, please go ahead and ask. I can do this, and then we have this option to end the exam here. Do Excel word shortcuts work in examination? Yes, absolutely they do. Few formulas which will be there, few word shortcuts which will be there, they are going to work in the spreadsheet and the response type option given to you. Which one would use, how to make use of them, that will come to you when we will be going through these questions, question by question practice. Yes, but it will make me feel that we have to work upon our typing skills. Yes, absolutely, you have to. You have to give your exam on the computer, right? You have to be familiar with the functionality of it. That's why I'm showing it to you on day one. So that, you don't realize this after the end of like 2.5 months of your training. That's precisely why I'm showing this to you in the first lecture itself, that this is what you need to work upon, right? So what we do now is we end the exam. Are you sure you want to end the exam? Yes, we are very sure you want to end the exam. Yes, we are. And once you've done this in the real exam, you obviously cannot go back to the real exam then, yeah? However, this is like a practice thing, so we can always go back to this. Let me show you one more functionality of the practice platform. Let's just exit from here. So on the practice platform, once you are done with a particular exam, you can go to mark here, mark option here. You can actually select the paper that you've just attempted. So practice test 1. You self-mark. Section A and Section B will be marked by the computer then and there itself for you while practicing, right? So this is something that, it is just done for me. And this is where we actually go down to the sample question and the sample answer. So this is something that you can do for each and every question that you are attempting. Okay, this is how it will help you pass. I've just randomly selected some options and I've got like a total of 56 marks, which is like brilliant without even reading the questions. But this is how you have to basically be able to self-mark your answers as well. What was the correct option? Which one did you choose? And why was it the correct option? It will help you have a look at everything, right? Okay with self-marking? Okay, wonderful. So we've all gone through this now. Everybody okay? Any doubts? What we will now do is we will take a quick lunch break. We will continue with our introduction session, with our exam technique session, and then we shall basically just go ahead after the lunch break now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's have a quick lunch till say 1:15. Would that be okay? So quick lunch break till 1:15, and I shall all see you all post lunch. Thank you. So now I need to just very quickly share with you some top exam tips that we are going to follow from day one itself, which is today. You're going to start practicing questions without any pen and paper. This is something which I've already told you. But yes, please just, be honest to yourself. Because it's a virtual class, I cannot see, that whether you guys are using pen and paper or are you actually solving questions on Excel. But believe you me, if you are going to be honest with yourself, you are going to see the difference that will come in your typing speed, in your skill to handle a computer-based exam at the end of 3 months on the D-Day of your exam. So please, Everybody listen to my advice, no pen and paper, only everybody's going to make use of Excel and worksheet. No need of neat workings in the scratch pad, because scratch pad is something which will not be seen by the examiner, and it is something which will, it's just like a rough paper. So no need of, beautifying your rough paper. You have to absolutely cover all the topic areas there. Any selective study is just not possible. One idea, 1 mark is what we are looking at. You have to look at quality over quantity, which simply means that one idea, you will, you think that if you have written down one good idea, one good point, you will be able to gain 1 mark out of it. So please look at good quality answers over just, just giving more and more and more quantity in terms of your answer. No need to, we have kind of a notion that, okay, we need to write pages and pages of answers. No, that is not required. Quality answer is what is actually required. Rule of elimination is something that you can follow when you are looking at your perspective, and when you are looking at how to handle the exam in terms of your MCQ questions. So this eliminate is not a right option. This eliminate, not a right option. This eliminate, not a right option. So let's eliminate all the distractors so that we can come down to the key answer which is there. You need to answer all MCQs regardless of whether you know it or not. Please, there is no negative marking in the exam. So if there is a particular question which you are absolutely clueless about, don't leave it unattended. There are 4 options. One of them is right. There is a 25% probability that you will hit the right answer. So please just, select any random answer which you think is like a plausible answer. Just select and move on. Don't leave any question unattended. Own figure rule simply means that when you're looking at the figures, one particular, question you've probably not gone ahead with. So please just, you will be obviously, the marks will be deducted there, one particular working which you've not done correctly, but you will keep on gaining marks for, for the steps gone ahead with it, and not just only for the final answer. Doesn't have to be like the final correct answer. So for every correct step that you follow, you gain marks for it. Subjective answers, yes, you have to use headers, and you have to create small paragraphs for each header to be able to gain maximum marks. This is something which I've just explained to you while we were running through the platform. Making best use of the CBE functionality simply means that you have to make use of clearly labeled and referenced workings. You have to, your calculations have to be easy to follow. You have to make use of clear as well as sensible layouts of calculations have to be followed. You can make use of formulas. I'll show you when, we actually will be making use of these formulas. And please don't just solve answer. Don't just do calculation and leave it. You have to absolutely write comments about it as well. You have to discuss, discuss what the number actually interprets. So that is something which is extremely important. Okay. Tips for section A, actually I've given you, lot many times, but I want everybody to spare out a minute and read through the slide, please. Quickly read through this. Done reading? Okay, section B then. We've already gone through each of these top tips. I'm just giving you another moment to read through them. Section C. Quickly go through this. Okay, so key message to all the students from the examining team, not from me, but from the examining team. You have to absolutely address the requirements which have been asked for. If you don't address the requirements, you obviously don't gain marks for it. You have to make use of the self formula correctly. Make sure that, you are insert whatever formulas you are inserting them in the correct manner, and you are highlighting and taking into account the correct number of cells that are there. Present spreadsheets as professionally as they would be presented in the workplace. You're a finance manager, not a student, is what I told you. Plan the word process response guided by the requirements, both in terms of the content as well as the detail of the response which is required. And a list of short bullet points is obviously not a discussion. So if the examiner has asked you to discuss, please, make a bullet point, explain it with a small paragraph. Another bullet point, explain it with a small paragraph, because that is when it looks like a discussion then, right? Okay, so like I've shown you the technical articles, these are the ones which are the most important ones from your ACCS website. So the technical articles on inflation and investment appraisal, dividend theory, behavioral finance, all of these are something which are extremely important, right? Okay with everyone? Any queries, anything anybody wants to ask? This is my personal email ID. You can reach out to me for any queries on this. I will just let you know the official email ID as well. And definitely I am in the WhatsApp group as well. So you can always reach out to me on WhatsApp and ask any queries if you have. What are the 3 articles? Okay, so let me just show you on the ACCS website again. So this is the website and these are the technical articles. Technical articles for the 3 topics which I've just shown you. These are the bare minimum that you have to read. There are a lot many others as well. But at least these 3 is, these 3 topics related technical articles is what you have to absolutely do as a bare minimum. Right? NG Letitia? Wonderful. Great, great. So let's have a look at this then. Any other doubts? Anything anybody would like to ask? Anybody has any doubts, any query? So we've gone through the basic introduction of your exam. We have seen the practice platform on which we have to practice our questions. We know, you can all open up your blank workspace in the practice platform and start solving questions there in the class itself. So it will become more easy for you to actually, you will get more familiar with the kind of, functionality that you have to use on the day of the exam as well. May I know the purpose of technical articles? Technical articles are written by the examiner on topics which the examiner reckons are most important aspects of your syllabus. So like I told you that, ACCA content from BPP or Kaplan is written by these two publishers. And these technical articles are over and above content which is written directly by the examiner. So this is, examiner's viewpoint or examiner's take on that particular topic, right? Wow, what are the three you highlighted in your PowerPoint slide? Let me quickly open up the PPT again for you, and there you are. These topics, you have to absolutely go through the relevant technical articles on your website. Right? Bear with me, please. Okay with everyone? Okay, so now we're going to start off with the first topic of our financial management. Till now, we've just only been discussing about the subject, about the technique, about the platform, about, how we will be approaching these papers. Now, we will be looking at the financial management function, which is the first chapter of your syllabus. So what is it that your role or function as a finance manager is going to be talking about? Okay, there you are. So what is the definition of financial management? We've already discussed it, right? We already discussed it when we started off with the lecture. So we will be looking at the management of activities associated with the efficient acquisition as well as use of short and long-term financial resources of the organization. So we will be looking at where to acquire funds for financing decisions as well as where to use these funds, that is investment decisions, both in the long as well as the short-term money requirements of the organization. The management of the finances of an organization in order to achieve the financial objective of the organization is called financial management, right? So what is financial planning going to be all about? The financial manager will need to plan to ensure that enough funding is available at the right time to meet the needs of the organization for short-term working requirements, that is the working capital requirement of the organization, for medium term, that is purchase and sale of the non-current assets of the organization, as well as long-term capital needs in the form of long-term debt that the organization needs to raise. So we are obviously, as finance manager, you have to ensure that the organization has sufficient funds available as and when required at all times. So for daily operations, you need your working capital. For your medium-term, requirements, you need for your non-current assets, they are your medium-term requirements. Your long-term capital needs are going to be also meeting your long-term capital requirements. So fulfilling need for finances as and when required is all about financial planning, right? Sorry, somebody's asking me what difference means in what? Financial planning and what? Sorry, I didn't get your question, Hari, and sorry, I forgot your name. Financial planning and management. So financial planning will help you do financial management, right? Financial planning is very much required for you to be able to manage your finances. So that is very much a part of financial management. Okay, everyone? Wonderful. Okay, so financial management decisions, what kind of decisions are you making? We've already discussed these. As a finance manager, you will be looking at where the money is going to come from. So financing decisions, what type of money is going to come from? Is it going to be equity? Is it going to be debt? What terms and where the funds are going to be raised. Then once the funds have been raised, where are you going to invest these funds? So investment decisions is what you will be looking at. So on which, proposed investment should the funds be spent on talks about your investing decisions. And then you will be talking about your dividend policy talking about once the money has been invested, profits have been made, how much funds are you going to, retain as capital in your organization, and how much are you going to distribute as dividends to your shareholders. So yes, these are the three broad genres that you as a financial manager will be required to make as decisions in your organization. Capital structure. Yes, that is what your financing decision is going to be, right? What is the structure of the capital? What is the mix of debt and equity that you're going to organize in your organization? Okay. So quickly, I want you to have a look at some typical investment decisions that will be required. Investment will also include disinvestment, which means selling off of unprofitable businesses, some selling off of unprofitable ventures, selling off of assets probably as well. So yes, when we say investment decisions done by a finance manager, we include the disinvestment decisions as part of it as well, right? So investment decisions are going to be both internal to the business as well as decisions which are going to involve external parties to the organization as well as some disinvestment decisions. Quickly have a look at a few examples on the screen. Quickly go through the examples on your screen. Yes, JV means joint venture. BS, no, BS means business. Yes, business. Done? Okay, so let's now have a look at some quick video to introduce the difference between financial accounts and management accounts. The way I like to conduct my classes is that not only I will be speaking, but I will be, showing you good videos related to the topic so that you are also visually seeing the topic that we are dealing with so that you understand it a lot more better. Let me very quickly share the link and play it on. Okay, so what do we have here? Just bear with me. Let me go on full screen.
Updated.
Okay, so now, yes, you know the basic difference between financial accounting and managerial accounting. Yes, thank you very much, Kartikan. That's precisely why I like to introduce videos in the class so that not only it becomes more lively for you as a student, definitely anything that we see visually, we are able to retain it a lot more better as well. Which accounting has wider scope? I think your name is Udit, right? So which accounting has wider scope? There is definitely, there's room for both. There's enough room for both. There are enough jobs for both kind of accounting that you can, basically look at, be it a management accountant or be it a financial accountant that
Did using Powtoon.
Looking for. So now that you know the key difference between the two, what I want you to do is now you need to tell me broad differences between financial accounting and management accounting. I've already shared, we've already seen the video, so we already know the topic and the list is already there on the screen as well. But now you need to tell me prima facie, what differences do you reckon are there in your financial accounts versus your management accounts? Which one of them is like mandated? Which one of them is like optional? Who is the target audience for, which one of them? And what kind of information are we, talking about? Financial accounting prepares only financial accounts, whereas management accounts basically include both financial as well as non-financial information. Yes, that's right. What else? Tell me what else. Financial accounting is reporting to the public at large, to the shareholders, right? That is what you prepare your financial accounts for. And management accounting is for the management. Yes, absolutely. Also in financial accounting, formats are specified. Yes, there are certain, formats and rules and procedures that you have to follow, which is not there in management accounting. Financial accounting is compulsory. Management accounting is a management's choice. Yes, that's right. Why you don't allow us to speak on mic? Well, Puru, I'm not allowing students to unmute themselves and to speak on mic so that everybody is able to read each other's answers in the chat box. And it's only me talking so that when everybody starts talking in a virtual class, it becomes very difficult for everyone to understand each other, right? So the best way is to always drop in your answers in the chat box. Not only will I, read out your answer so that everybody can understand, but also others can read everybody else's answers as well. That just helps manage the online class a whole lot better. Right, Puru? Okay. Now, quickly, I want you to go through the differences on the screen. Well, we've covered all the differences already, but just very quickly have a look at the table on your screen as well. Okay, wonderful. Any doubts? Anything anybody wants to ask in this? Just to set the context at what is it that we will be dealing with in. Okay. So now let's have a look at what strategy is. And as a finance manager, definitely you will be required to give your inputs for strategies at all levels. Strategies is, what is a strategy basically? Strategy is a course of action, something like a plan that will help you achieve your objective. So now today you and I are sitting here. What is our plan? What is our ultimate goal? What is our ultimate objective? Our objective is to pass our FM paper, right? So now from today until the day of the exam, we will be following a strategy which will help us pass our paper. So we will be following a course of action which will help us achieve our objective, that is to pass our FM paper. Similarly, an organization will have, within the organization, an organization needs to break down its, it's at all levels. They need to have a policy in place. They need to have a strategy in place in order to achieve the overall objective, vision, and mission of the organization. So you need to have a broad corporate level strategy, which means that where do you want to be, as an organization as a whole. You have to have for yourself a business level, you can say objective or strategy, wherein the overall corporate strategy will then be further broken down into each business unit level so that they are ultimately helping in achieving the overall corporate strategy. And functionally, definitely you need to break it down at all functions within the organization, at all levels within the organization, at all operational levels within the organization, so that ultimately you're able to achieve your overall corporate objective. So yes, you need strategy at all levels within the organization. Now let's have a look at what sort of organizational objectives do you think there will be? Tell me, please. It's very simple. So I want you to tell me what could be the different organizational objectives that organizations could have in mind. When they are operating, what would our objective as an organization be? Could be to make profits, could be share growth, could be to, have an efficient cash flow, to have maximum returns to the investors, yes, to increase the market share, yes. My objective as an organization could be, to have 100% customer satisfaction. My objective could be, to maintain the quality of my products. My objective as an organization could be to have, like Udit just said, a happy workforce. What else? So yes, there can be many objectives that we as an organization could have in order to basically go ahead and be able to achieve our long-term vision. Proper vendor management and employees management. Yes, absolutely. That's right. Minimum cost of capital. Yes, that is also right. So yes, broadly, all our objectives will be broken down in the list mentioned on the screen, which will include your profit targets, your market share targets, your share price growth targets, local as well as environmental concerns that you may have, cash flow, customer satisfaction is what you may be looking at, quality of the firm's products, contented workforce, as well as good industrial relations could also be one of our objectives as an organization. Is that okay with everyone? The entire list on your screen? Is that understood by everyone? Done? Wonderful. Okay, so now how do I basically go ahead and calculate what is the overall shareholders' wealth that we've created? One of our objectives is to maximize this shareholder wealth, right? So then how do I basically achieve this financial objective? How do I calculate achievement of this financial objective? So you have to look at, there are various methods. You could look at the balance sheet valuation, which is called the statement of financial position valuation method, wherein assets will be valued at a going concern basis. the parameter of which will include rise in retained profits. So if your retained profits have increased by valuing your assets on a going concern basis, yes, this is your valuation as a business. Or you could just basically follow a breakup basis, where in business, if a business is like literally threatened with liquidation, it's not going nicely, you will be thinking of selling off individual assets to raise cash. So then you have to break up each asset, find out its individual worth, and then sell it off to be able to find out an overall breakup basis of the organization. I think I've missed out a few comments. Let me just go back. Could you please explain contended workforce? Contended workforce just means a happy workforce, right? My endeavor, one of my objectives as an organization is to keep my employees of the organization happy. So I could, and when that happens, not only just I gain loyalty of my employees, the productivity of my employees is definitely going to go up because they are happy. They are having a good work-life balance. They are contented with the promotions they are getting. They are contented with the salaries, with the appraisals that they are getting. So that could be one of the objectives, right, Karthikeyan? Employees in firm are satisfied with their working conditions and pay. Yes, that's right. Breakup basis simply means that you are going to be breaking up each asset and finding out how much can I sell off the computers of my organization for, how much can I sell off the plant and machinery of my organization for. Summing up all of this minus your liabilities is the worth of the business, really, right? Can't understand what these methods are all about. This is just that how you can calculate whether your overall shareholders' wealth is getting maximized year on year or not. Right, Puru? And the most obvious and the most commonly used method is the market valuation. Now, what is market valuation? Market valuation is basically how much are worth the shares of the organization. So we know for a listed organization giving out shares listed on the stock exchange, what do shareholders get in return? They get dividends, right? So that is what we will be making use of to find out the overall market value of the organization, which will include the dividends received as well as the market value of shares. So what is the formula that you will be using? P1 minus P0 plus D1 divided by P0. What is P1? P1 is the share price at the end of the period less the share price at the beginning of the period. So which simply means how much your share price has increased from day 1 to day 365 of the year, plus whatever dividends you've paid recently divided by your base share price again. This is what you will use to calculate your market value of the shares of the company, right? We will be doing examples on this. Just give me a moment. Let me just pin down. Sure, Hari. Let me go back to the previous slide. So market value, I'm trying to find out what is the overall shareholders' wealth maximization. So what is my overall market value of my company? What would be your market value? What is your share price today? Less what was your share price, at the beginning of the period, plus whatever dividends you have given away in this period divided by your base price again. That becomes your total shareholders' return. Okay, the one previous to it. Okay, let me go back again. This is something that, how do you calculate your balance sheet? So as an accountant, you know how to calculate a balance sheet, right? That is your statement of financial position valuation. That is what is when you prepare your balance sheet, what is it? It is all your assets are being valued at a going concern basis, right? That not your business is not going to stop in the next 1 year. So that is what one of the methods of calculating your business's worth is. Or if this business is threatened with liquidation, that is, it cannot be calculated on a going concern basis, then we find out the worth of each one of our assets. How much is each one of my assets worth if I'm, thinking of selling it off, right? You will not be required to prepare a balance sheet here. You will not be required to calculate a breakup basis here. However, you will be required to do calculations for your market value. That is your total shareholders return. And that is precisely where we will be doing question practice on this. Right, Hari? Market value of shares. Every listed company has shares, right? How much is it worth on the stock exchange? Right, Hari? So today I can go ahead. Okay, let me just show it to you. Let me open up my Google. Let's just have a look at this. Okay, share price of Tata Power. So this is the share price. This is what, you can go ahead and buy one share of Tata Power today at a value of INR 233.5. Right? Okay with everyone? Okay. So let's have a look at this then. We will be doing questions on this, don't worry. We'll be doing lots of questions on this, in fact. Okay, so financial objective could be profit maximization. I, as a business, one of my major objective would be to maximize the profits of the business, right? But do you really think that profits are like, the best parameter to judge a business? Is it? Tell me. No, right? But why no? Tell me why no. You're a finance manager. Don't just give me an answer. Explain why you're saying no also. Get into the right habits from day one itself. So if profits are not the best parameter, why profits are not the best parameter? Tell me. Absolutely right, Kamalpreet. Window dressing can be done. These profits can be manipulated. Because non-financial factors are equally critical for the success of a business as well. Yes. So why are you only just taking profits as a financial parameter to judge a business, right? You cannot ignore the non-financial factors as well. For long-term growth of the company, you cannot just only be looking at profits as a measure, right? Profits do not take into account the amount of risk taken by the organization. Profits, on their own, they take into account no volume of investment that has gone behind to earn this profit. Is it just, linking to how much investment has actually gone behind to earn that much profit? No, right? And definitely profits as an overall parameter itself is very short term, horizon is what profits are looking at. Yes, absolutely. Yes, so you just cannot be ignoring these important aspects of the business. Okay, so how am I looking at these financial objectives? What about calculating your earnings per share? So what is your earning per share? How do you calculate your overall earning per share? You need to divide the overall net profits or loss attributable to the ordinary shareholders of the business divided by the number of ordinary shares that you have. So what is EPS? EPS is profits after tax minus your preference dividend, because remember, this is the profit you only have to take, which is attributable to your ordinary shareholders divided by the number of ordinary shares in the business. Do you all understand what EPS is? I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar with these terms or you want me to explain them even more. Okay, everybody's familiar, so that's just wonderful. So now you need to tell me that, okay, this is what EPS is. We're calculating our earnings per share. But do you really think that, again, this is something which is like the best judge of a financial or, of the performance of the business? Or are there any drawbacks to it? Are we not looking at historic performance, because it's definitely based on past earnings, how much profits have been already earned in the past, which can now be attributed to the shareholders, right? And definitely it is going to be prone to manipulation as well, right? Yes, that's right, Hari, that profits, EPS can be manipulated, since profits itself can be manipulated. So what other objectives can we have? We could be, having a look at, okay, let's just, ensure that our gearing level, which is your debt upon equity ratio, doesn't go beyond 2:1. So that could be one of my financial objectives as a finance manager, that making sure that the organization's gearing level is within its capacity to bear the risk. So I don't want it to increase beyond like a 2:1 ratio really. I could be looking at, a target for profit retention in terms of the dividends that needs to be paid out. I could be looking at for a target for operating profitability of the business in terms of the return on capital employed of the business. So these could be other, financial targets that I as an organization might be having. Like, I think somebody just mentioned here, I think I've forgotten the name. Let me go back. Okay. Like Udit just said, that not just only financial parameters, but non-financial parameters are also extremely important for the organization. So to look at. So clearly you cannot, ignore the non-financial objectives of the organization, which could include like a contended workforce. We could be looking at the overall welfare of the management. We could be looking at providing a service which would, be of greater good to the maximum number of people. We could be looking at fulfillment of responsibilities towards customers, towards suppliers at large. We could be looking at, the overall welfare of the society as a whole. We could be looking at diversification as one of the options. And we definitely could be looking at leadership in research and development as one of the non-financial objectives that an organization may have. So yes, financial objectives like, increasing the profits, increasing the dividend payout, increasing your, overall market share, your return on capital employed. Definitely these could be financial objectives, but you cannot ignore your non-financial objectives as an organization as well, right? Everybody okay with it? Wonderful. We will be going back to your, questions, to your book for question practice. But before that, what I want you to do is very quickly revise some of the formulas that is considered as brought forward knowledge. I think somebody had asked me. That's what I told you, right? That time to time, whatever will be required, I will be making you revise it. So quickly go through few of these, you can say, ratios. So what is the criteria to judge a company if nothing can be relied upon fully? Yes, so we have to find out that how do we basically, judge an organization. So you have to find out an optimum balance between both financial as well as non-financial parameters of the organization. Both are equally important. You have to find out, what is the return on capital employed that the business has got, what is the overall shareholder return that the business is earning, what about the non-financial parameters as well. It depends upon what is your objective as a shareholder. What is it that you are looking out for from an organization will be the criteria that you have to judge an organization's performance upon. Cash flows could be one of the objectives as a shareholder as well, right? Is the company able to meet its cash flow requirements as and when required? Right? Quickly revise these profitability and return ratios. Everything I'm going to send across this PP to you as it is, Hitesh. So no need to note down anything. Everything will be provided to you. Whatever, I've prepared, this is prepared for you only. Quickly revise some profitability and return ratios. Quickly revise your debt equity ratio, that is your gearing ratios, your liquidity ratios, your shareholder investment ratios. Calculation of this is something that you already know of, right? Now what we're going to learn here is how to interpret these ratios. Yes, absolutely, that's right. Quickly go through it. Okay. Done reading this? What do you think would be our objective if our organization is not just only running to make profits? So not-for-profit organization. What is a not-for-profit organization? Tell me and give me a few examples. Sure, Karthikeyan. Apologies. Let me just go back to the last slide. Let me know when you've all finished reading and let me know if you're all familiar with these ratios, please. X dividend market price means excluding dividend. What is your current market price? X stands for excluding. There's a cum dividend market price, which is including the dividend given in the market price, and there is an X dividend market price. So what you have to calculate your dividend yield upon is your dividend per share divided by your market price, excluding the amount of dividends that you have given away. Right? Shall I scroll down now? So not-for-profit organizations' objectives. Let me just quickly show you a quick video on this first, just to set the tone and so that everybody is able to understand. Very base level. I'm just going to quickly show it to you. Last 12th it is, but let's just very quickly revise with a nice video I'm looking at. What I like to generally show for my students is videos with animations. I don't like people talking. Has to be just a good animated video, which I can choose for my students to have a look at. Is I think it is a good one because Audiopedia generally the videos are good. Let me just share the link with everyone. Yes, Karthikeyan, that's right. Let me turn on the subtitles, go on full screen.
A non-profit organization, NPO, also known as a non-business entity, is an organization the purpose of which is something other than making a profit. A non-profit organization is often dedicated to furthering a particular social cause or advocating for a particular point of view. In economic terms, a non-profit organization uses its surplus revenues to further achieve its purpose or mission, rather than distributing its surplus income to the organization's shareholders or equivalents as profit or dividends. This is known as the distribution constraint. The decision to adopt a non-profit legal structure is one that will often have taxation implications, particularly where the non-profit seeks income tax exemption, charitable status and so on. The terms non-profit and not-for-profit are not consistently differentiated across jurisdictions. In layman's terms, they are usually equivalent in concept, Although in various jurisdictions there are accounting and legal differences, the nonprofit landscape is highly varied, although many people have come to associate NPOs with charitable organizations. Although charities do make up an often high-profile or visible aspect of the sector, there are many other types of nonprofit organization. Overall, they tend to be either member-serving or community-serving. Member-serving organizations include mutual societies, cooperatives, trade unions, credit unions, industry associations, sports clubs, retired servicemen's clubs and peak bodies, organizations that benefit a particular group of people, that is the members of the organization. Typically, community-serving organizations are focused on providing services to the community in general, either globally or locally. Organizations delivering human services programs or projects, aid and development programs, medical research, education and health services, and so on. It could be argued many nonprofits sit across both camps, at least in terms of the impact they make. For example, the grassroots support group that provides a lifeline to those with a particular condition or disease could be deemed to be serving its members by directly supporting them and the broader community through the provision of a service for fellow citizens. Many NPOs use the model of a double bottom line in that furthering their cause is more important than making a profit, though both are needed to ensure the organization's sustainability. Although NPOs are permitted to generate surplus revenues, they must be retained by the organization for its self-preservation, expansion, or plans. NPOs have controlling members or a board of directors. Many have paid staff including management, whereas others employ unpaid volunteers and executives who work with or without compensation, occasionally nominal. In some countries, where there is a token fee, in general it is used to meet legal requirements for establishing a contract between the executive and the organization. Designation as a non-profit does not mean that the organization does not intend to make a profit, but rather that the organization has no owners and that the funds realized in the operation of the organization will not be used to benefit any owners. The extent to which NPO can generate surplus revenues may be constrained, or use of surplus revenues may be restricted.
Okay, so that was all about what a not-for-profit organization is for. Let me just have a the link just changed. Let me just share the link for all of you to have a look at when you are revising as well. Okay, so yes, what is a not-for-profit organization? A not-for-profit organization is an organization whose objective is to provide a service for the greater good of maximum number of people rather than just only making profits, right? I think there was a query in the chat box which I missed. Could you please explain the purpose of all these formulas one by one so that we can emphasize on the significance of these ratios in the FM paper? Kartikan, it's brought forward knowledge from your MA paper. You need to know which question, which ratio emphasizes what. We're talking about profitability, we're talking about gearing, we're talking about liquidity of the organization, and how do you interpret these ratios? We will be doing questions on it, so don't worry about it. Will we be going through exam questions later on ratios? Yes, absolutely. We will be doing question practice on possibly all types of questions that can be asked upon this topic. I'm just only introducing the terms to you today. I'm just only introducing the first chapter to you today. Then we will move on to the questions. We'll be doing all possible type of questions that can be tested upon for this particular topic in the exam as well. Right? Okay, so I'm just having a look at the slideshow. Okay, so the objective for not-for-profit organization obviously will include maximization not of profits but of the usage, maximization of clients, client satisfaction levels, maximization of the benefits of the service that you're providing, to the society at large. So that is what a not-for-profit organization is going to be talking about and dealing with. So now, if it's a not-for-profit organization, how do you really measure its performance? Financial, a profit-making organization, a private company, we just had a look at a huge list of financial parameters that we can actually make use to judge the performance of the company. We can calculate ratios to find out how the organization has performed. But if the objective is not to make profits, how do I measure the performance? We make use of the triple E model, which simply means that we are making use of that whether the service being provided is value for money to the end user or not, which includes our 3 E's, which includes economy. M, are you able to provide the product or the service at the least minimum cost possible? Efficiency, which means are you able to provide the maximum output to input ratio, maximum output using the minimum inputs, and is the service that you are providing the most effective service or not, which includes meeting the organization's overall objectives. Are we effective enough in achieving the objectives of the effectiveness of the organization or not? Usage maximization means that your service is being used by maximum number of people, maximum good being provided to the greatest number of people. So let's just take this with the help of an example. So if railways is, a not-for-profit organization, what are we looking at? We're looking at to ensure that more and more people are making use of the service. So that is usage maximization. Right, Puru? Wonderful. So 3 E's is what you have to remember. That is the value for money criteria whenever you are looking at the overall, performance evaluation of a not-for-profit organization. Right? Okay with everyone? Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to just introduce what I'm going to do now is, instead of going ahead with the stakeholder topic, which we will be doing tomorrow, I'm going to quickly open up your books and then we'll start doing with questions for the topics that we've done so far, right? So I want everybody to quickly open up your BPP workbook. I am going to open up my BPP spreadsheet, my ebook. Just give me a moment. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can open up my book, inserting my username and password. Just give me a moment. Oh, okay, everyone. Taken out your books? Let me share the screen. Oh, you don't have books as yet? Okay, so please note down this number. Everybody needs to buy these books. With the physical book, you will also get a coupon which will have your ebook code on it. So you all obviously need books. You have to buy both the entire book set, which is going to include the workbook as well as the practice and revision kit. This is something which is very, very important for you to have, if not by the next class, like tomorrow, at least by next week. Okay, so this is what your workbook of ACCA BPP content is going to look like. This is just like the ebook version of it. Let me just increase the font size. This particular workbook is obviously valid for your June 22 exam. This is the table of contents. We're on the first chapter, that is the financial management function. I hope it's legible by everyone. Okay, this is just some few introductory wording here. We already discussed that in length. So I'm just going to quickly hop on to the first lecture straight away. Let me just open up my first chapter. Okay, so we are on the first chapter. Financial management function. Definitely this chapter is going to be tested in your section A and section B questions. This is just a quick chapter overview. Quickly read through this. Quickly read through the quick chapter overview. We'll be doing all of this one by one. Okay, so this is something that we've already done. Okay, so let's have a look at this first question activity. Quickly, I want everybody to tell me the answer for activity 1 on your screen. Okay, keep pouring your answers in. I'm not familiar with ratios from MA. Will it be explained during sums? No hurry. It is something which is brought forward knowledge. In case you are not familiar with ratios, you really have to sit back and revise all your key ratios. And that is something that you can very easily do from YouTube. But please, I will not be explaining each and every ratio because this is something that is brought forward knowledge. We have, to go beyond ratios in your FM paper. Right, Hari? So over the next, by the next week, revise the concepts. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. B company just released its financial results for the year and its profits before tax have increased by 38% over the previous year. This was due largely by doubling of sales in Southeast Asia. However, the share price has fell by almost 20% immediately after the profits announcement. Now, clearly, the company's profits after tax have increased by 38%. What do you think would have, what would be the reason that why your share price is actually falling instead of increasing? Okay, so mixed responses coming in from the class, but the correct option is that the depreciation charge was actually higher due to a change in the accounting policy. So because of that, that is why your profits after tax have actually increased. However, originally, because the business has actually not performed well, it is going to, it should have actually not being reflected in terms of its profitability. That is how it would, it would be able to explain why it is that the depreciation charge was higher due to the change in the accounting policy. And thus, even if your profits have increased, profit after tax has literally increased by 38%, your share price literally still falls, which is going to be an immediate impact because of the change in the accounting policy. Right? Okay with everyone? This is like a just base level understanding is what we're talking about here. It's not even related to the concepts that we will be dealing with. Yes, that's right. B is the answer. Okay, so now Territorial Shareholder Return is what we've already done. Remember the formula that we had done here? I'm just going to quickly open up a question on that first. Let me go back to the formula so that we can all do it likewise. So this is your total shareholder return. And let's do a quick question on calculating our total shareholder return, which is our illustration 1. So I'm just going to hide the solution. You all know the formula. It's written on the screen as well, so you can very well make use of it. But I want everybody to give me an answer to this, please, very quickly. Do illustration 1 on your screen. Answers pouring in. .2424 is what the answer is, and which is in fact correct. 24% is the amount of total shareholder return. Right? That's done well by everyone. Now, there's an exam focus point here, which everybody needs to take care of, that students often forget to use the start of the year share price as the denominator when calculating the total shareholder return. Please do not forget that. It's a very simple formula and you have to absolutely be able to apply the formula. Anyone in the class who was not able to calculate this 24%? Are such exams asked in the questions as in the exam as well? Yes, absolutely. It's a 2-marker question. Right, Kamalpreet? Okay. Okay, so next activity on your screen, Magneto PLC has 2 objectives to improve the EPS as well as the DPS by 10%. Okay, so what's happening here? Then there are some numbers given to us. The balance sheet is given to us. So you have to calculate what is the current year earning per ordinary share. Then you have to calculate what is the growth in the dividend per ordinary share. Then you have to calculate what is the total shareholder return in the current year. So good question. So there are 3 things you have to calculate: EPS, your DPS, the growth in the DPS, as well as the total shareholder return in the current year. And there you are. It's going to show you the figures so that you can all calculate all 3 parts of the question. And then we will be reviewing them together very quickly. Please note down the requirements so that I can then show the figures to everyone, since you don't have the books as of now. You have to calculate the current year's earning per ordinary share. So EPS, you have to calculate the growth in the dividend per ordinary share, and you also have to calculate the total shareholder return. Quickly, everyone. The figures are on your screen. Calculate all 3 parts. So 3 was that you have to calculate the total shareholder return. That's the 3rd requirement. Okay, done, everyone? Shall we start? So let's have a look at current year earnings per ordinary share. What is my current year earning? 14508 million. What is my total number of ordinary shares? 100,000. So 14508 divided by 100,000, which makes it what? Which makes it 14.3 cents is my earnings per share. Has everybody been able to do that? I'm just going to quickly open up my Excel. Okay, so what do we have here? What is my earnings? Earnings in the current year is 14. Let me just go back to the book. 14308, is it? Yep. And my number of ordinary shares is 100,000. Can you just calculate your EPS, everyone? Which obviously is this divided by this. So 14 cents per share is my earnings per share. Is that okay with everyone? Preference dividend. Let's go back to the question. Okay, let's look at your question. So what is this here? Earnings per share, preference dividend it is, right? So 14308. So we've already deducted, right? 14508 minus 200. I've taken 14308 only. See? So this is what? This is one. Okay, let me just explain you again. 14508 less 200. So which is 14308, right? I've already deducted it. Wonderful. What about the second part, which is the growth in dividend, right? So growth in dividend. How do you calculate growth in dividend? What was my current year dividend? Let me just open up the question. Current year dividend is 8585. So 8585 minus my last year dividend. That's what growth is going to be, right? 7986. Okay. 7986 divided by my base, which is 7986. Can you just calculate a percentage of it, which is going to be a 7.5% increase, right? Does everybody agree with it? Any doubts? And then we have to do our total shareholder return, which is going to be obviously my share price at the end of the year, which is how much? Which is share price 5.16 per share and 470 per share. So let's just take that into cents. So 516 is my share price at the end. So 516 minus my opening share price, which is 470 minus 470 plus the amount of dividends paid in this year, which is equals to what? Dividend paid this year is equals to the number of amount of dividend paid this year. So what dividends have we paid this year? 8585 minus 7986 is what the amount of dividends that we've paid this year, right? Ordinary shares. So what is it going to be? Dividends per share is 8.6 cents is what we've paid this year. Let's just add 8.6 cents here. We're just taking it in cents now, right? So 8.6 is what I'm just rounding it off to, divided by my base price, which is going to be 470, right? So what is my total shareholder return is equals to 11.62%. Is that okay with everyone? Does everybody agree upon this? Any doubts in this? Have a look at the calculation here. 516 is what my share price at the end is. 470 is what my share price at the beginning is. How much dividends have we paid this year? It's 8.6. So I've just basically rounded up to cents again. So 8585 is called 8.6, rounding off. And then just divide by the base price. Is everybody okay with it? Any doubts? Please feel free to ask if you have absolutely any doubts in this. Total shareholder return again. Okay, sure. So let me break it down into steps. So what is P1? What is P1? P1 is my share price at the end. So 516 per share, right? So that is 516. What is P0? P0 is share price at the beginning, which is 4.70 per share. So I'm just converting it into cents. What is my dividend? Dividend is my P1 is, what is my dividend just paid? This is what denomination is it in? It's in millions, right? So we are now putting that down into the number of cents which would be there. So that is 8.585. I can round off to 8.6. Can I? 8.585, can I round off to 8.6? So that comes out to be 8.6. Apply the formula, please, which you all know already, which is going to be this minus this plus this divided by your base price, which is 470, and that's it. Is that okay with everyone now? Is that okay with everyone? I've broken it down into steps again for everyone. Total amount of dividend paid was how much? 8586. Divide by number of shares. You get your dividend per share. And this is how you calculate your total shareholder return. Right? Any doubts, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to repeat again if there's absolutely anyone who doesn't understand. Let me know. I'm taking it that into cents just for ease for calculation. You can do it 5.16. Then you'll have to do 4.70. And then you'll have to calculate your dividends accordingly in cents would be then 0.0086. So that will just make your calculations even more confusing. What our endeavor is to make our calculations easier, right? Yes. Yes. 5.16 is dollars. $1 is equals to 100 cents. Yes, absolutely right. I hope everybody knew that already. Yes, absolutely, like rupees and paisa. $1 is equals to 100 cents. Yes, that's perfectly right, Udit. Okay with everyone? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a question to do as homework. Let me open up the question for you. Okay, but the problem with that is that you guys don't have books on you, so you won't be able to do the homework, right? Okay, no worries. What we'll do it together only. So no homework for today, but Please ensure that you are able to buy the books at the earliest possible, because really classroom training would not be possible without the students having the books on them, right? So please reach out to the team at VG Learning, purchase your books, get your ebook immediately so that you can, just start off with your preparations. So with the physical books comes the code for your free books, so you can refer to both. And definitely 100% everybody needs to buy the physical books, please. Right? So please reach out to the team at VG Learning. I'm again leaving everyone with the contact number. And then what we'll do is we'll continue with the class tomorrow now. And we'll start off with question practice for revision of your ratios. Till then, if there's absolutely anyone in the class who doesn't know basic ratio analysis, please utilize this time today to quickly revise how to calculate each one of these ratios, what these ratios mean, what do these ratios stand for, and then we'll start off with a full-fledged question. The timings are going to be same every Saturday, Sunday, 10:30 to 3:30. Obviously, we'll have some timings. It is going to be between this time. So you have to spare out from 10:30 to 3:30 every Saturday, Sunday. Right? Wonderful. Any particular, thing in the class, in the training that you want me to change? I'm always open to feedback. Please share your experience of the first class today, so that if there's anything that, I need to improvise upon, I'll definitely incorporate that. Test will be conducted. Test will be every question which I'm giving you. So you have to only do the questions in class. I will give you time to do the question in class like a test, and then we will do it together. Okay, bye, Puru. Just, any feedback, anything you want to tell, anything, you guys want to spare out a minute for a feedback? Thank you so much, Preeti. I'm humbled. What about others? Nice, says Uday. Thank you so much. Elating experience. Thank you so much. Great teaching, says Kartikan. Would be absolutely, don't worry. You can always give feedback later on as well. I'm just taking like a first hands-on experience that you guys have had. You can definitely refer to the recordings. These lectures will be recorded and uploaded on your LMS. My suggestion is to always come to the live class so that you can ask your doubts then and there itself. I know, and for the recording classes, I obviously would not be explaining each and every question again separately to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind words. And my endeavor is that each one of you passes your exam with great marks, and that will only happen when you and I will work together as a team. Okay, then thank you so much, guys, and I shall see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.